up, guys? So, between coronavirus and Black Lives Matter, this is a really difficult time for pretty much everybody. There's not a health issue, there's a socioeconomic societal one, and yeah, it has meant that this video did not make it to its initial release date, which was the 4th of July, because I am obviously, as per the title, questioning what it means to be patriotic during these difficult times. So I've got a USA Today article open in front of me. The link is down below. I'm gonna pick and choose some bits, like the media generally does. But I'm gonna try and offer as equal an argument as I can for both sides. Because this is a topic that I've been debating for a week whether or not I was going to touch or not. So I don't want to be inadvertently offending anybody. Where did we go just now? Okay, so it says here that, and this had gone up before 4th of July. So it says, this 4th of July, the coronavirus pandemic rages nationwide, and obviously being a USA Today article, nationwide is, America. Can we not be moving the hell around? The page keeps jumping for whatever reason. So the pandemic rages nationwide, the death toll continues to climb, and the resulting health and economic crises have more than 80% of Americans stressed about the future of the country, and 75% feeling that the nation is pretty seriously off track. Civil unrest embroils the nation after the death of Black Americans at the hands of police, and while the majority of US adults would still say that they're extremely or very proud to be American, both numbers are at a 20-year low, which is some hard. There's some hard facts to sort of try and wrap your head around. Like, why shouldn't you be proud of where you come from? But that's exactly why we haven't been touching this. So it says, as we prepare to mark the birth of the nation, obviously, again, that was a week ago, debate intensifies over what it means to be American, who qualifies, and how good one behaves. Protest as good Americans, the Black Lives Matter, or the anti-lockdown ones. Are you American if you're born there, but don't know the history? What about if you've lived there your whole life, but don't have a piece of paper to prove it? Are you American then? Experts say that the heart of the debate is whether being American depends on who you are, such as being an English speaker, or on what you believe, such as valuing freedom or equality. And I can't remember the name of the show, but there's videos on YouTube of it. I'll try to link one down in the description, where basically it tears apart the idea that freedom and equality are uniquely American things. I'll put that down there below. Maybe that will help in this debate. Maybe, who knows. So it says, this old debate is inflamed by protests over personal liberties amid the pandemic and severe racial disparities, all against the backdrop of increasingly diverse demographics. A culmination of crises. America is in turmoil and a mental health crisis looms next. We're going to jump ahead a bit to what is American? So there is diminishing pride. Respondents saying they're extremely very proud to be American has gone from, in 2016, of 81% to 63% in 2020. It's almost dropped 20% in the last 4 years. 4 years, 5 years, whatever. So, despite the political polarization of the country, there are elements of American identity people generally agree on. When it comes to being a quote-unquote real American, 90% said it meant treating people equally and 88% said it meant being personally responsible in a 2018 poll of 1,000 US adults. When it comes to being a good citizen, a Pew Research Center survey that same year found 74% said voting, 71% said paying taxes, and 69% said always following the law is what it takes to be a real American. These all seem like pretty good things, all things considered. Equality, responsibility, voting, having your say in political matters, paying your taxes and following the law. These all seem like, shouldn't these things just be basic? Anyway, Republicans and Democrats closely agree on several other aspects of good citizenship, including serving on juries, participating in the census, and respecting the opinions of those with whom you disagree. Yes. But political identity still influences how people feel about the country and how they believe devotion to the nation should be expressed. So both sides may adhere to all of those other things, but the way they express their pride is what's polarizing, I guess. I don't know. Don't live in the country. At the moment, kind of happy I don't. Republicans are far more likely to say they're extremely proud of being an American than Democrats, according to Gallup research. Half of Republicans say displaying the American flag is very important, compared to a quarter of Democrats, while 52% of Democrats say it's important to protest when government actions are wrong, and 35% of Republicans say the same. So it seems like Republicans are happy just flying their flag, but Democrats want the government to actually adhere to what they should be doing rather than what they are doing, I guess. There are also perceptions not about behaviours, but about qualities. For instance, how people believe a real American looks. Research shows Americans are much more likely to associate Kate Winslet, an English actress, with being American than they are Lucy Liu, an American actress. Because she's Asian. She's Asian descendant. That's the American education system for you. The Grinnell College poll found nearly a quarter of respondents said real Americans are born in the USA and are Christian, and 44% said real Americans speak English. Quote unquote real Americans. Looking at that, born in the US, being Christian, speaking English, I'm sure the natives will agree with at least one of those things. The real Americans are born in the US. Everybody else comes from somewhere else. Right, but considering that people believe that there's a certain way a real American looks, we've got quotes here. That's why they ask someone who's Asian, oh, what country do you come from, without thinking, oh, this person could actually be an American citizen who's born here, and maybe the parents are born here, and the grandparents. said Leonie Huddy, a professor of political science at the State University of New York, Stony Brook, and co-author of the study American Patriotism, National Identity and Political Involvement. For those who believe American identity is defined by values, there's potential for a larger tent. Some people think being American means, I believe, in equal opportunity. In that sense, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, green, purple. All that matters is that you endorse these bedrock principles, Perez said. I don't know who Perez is. They obviously got the introduction in a bit that I skipped. Alright, so what is or who is a patriot? Alright, so 4 years ago, Colin Kaepernick took a knee and eventually lost his NFL career. His critics, including Trump, said he was unpatriotic. His supporters and the athletes who joined his protest against racial injustice and police brutality said his actions intended to make the US better. Time and tragedy have many people rethinking their stances on Kaepernick. Because obviously, if 4 years ago he took a knee to go against police brutality and racism, and now we're all protesting that, basically. Should have maybe listened before when they did it quietly. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell admitted after the George Floyd protests that the league did not handle the Kaepernick situation properly. He said he will encourage any team thinking of signing Kaepernick, adding that he's open to the former quarterback working with the league on social justice issues. The way George Floyd's death catalyzed nationwide protests and tapped into rage and frustration centuries in the making shows that the US is in a different place than it was just a few years ago, when it didn't have an Oompa Loompa running it. What else is on this thing? Okay. So yeah, as we can see, a bit of a head scratcher. What makes for patriotism during COVID and Black Lives Matter? I mean, Australia is going through similar things at the moment. We're experiencing a second wave of COVID in Victoria. We've got our own, sort of to a lesser extent, BLM movement going on with the Aboriginal Australians. Again, police brutality seems to be a thing. It's thankfully not as prevalent in Australia, but yeah, there are facts and figures that some people will take and they'll look at it a particular way, and some people will take the same numbers and look at them another way, and I don't know, they'll like disagree on them or something. One might look at the fact that there's a higher percentage of Aboriginal Australian deaths in custody, I think it is, as opposed to the fact that for the size of their population, there's sort of a similar size population within our judicial system, our justice system, and in prisons and stuff. I'm not sure I'm remembering those facts entirely correctly, but Australia is dealing with similar things, and Australia has its own little query when it comes to this. When is a good day to actually celebrate our national pride? For the last couple of years, there's been a debate about moving when Australia Day is, instead of being when the first fleet landed, because that's not really a time to celebrate all Australians. And I think I have an idea, and if you think that my idea is good, give the video a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Let me know what you think of this idea. Or if you're sort of on the fence about it and you have a separate idea, let me know. I have heard things like May 8th, because when you say May 8 quickly, it can kind of sound like mate, and therefore, if the day sounds like mate, we can obviously be celebrating camaraderie and inclusion there, which I get. That's a good thing to be celebrating. But I think the 19th of January, moving it a week earlier, because 1st of January 1901, and obviously we can't use 1st of January because that's New Year's Day, it's already a holiday. So the 19th of January 1901 is when Australia was officially declared its own federation, and sort of was, like, we're still part of the Commonwealth, but we are no longer directly under the rule of the English government, the British government. So at that point, Australia became its own independent nation, and the idea was that it was better for all Australians. I can't find the exact quote on the internet for it. I'm starting to think that I maybe imagined that quote somewhere on the Federation pages. I'm pretty sure it was on Wikipedia, could be wrong. But the idea was that when all the states joined together as its own entity, that all Australians would be able to decide what's best for themselves. And if that's the case, becoming a federation was definitely a move towards inclusivity and equality, which seem to be good things to be celebrating. And since 1901 was the year, the 19th of the 1st, as we would be writing our dates, would actually be commemorating that. So we could celebrate our federation on the 19th of the 1st to commemorate the first year of being our own country, is my idea. It does move it only a week away, like a week earlier than where it already is, so we can still celebrate it in the middle of summer, and everyone that wants to keep it as the 26th of January for whatever reason they want to, can still do the things they like to do. We don't have to now celebrate it in the middle of winter or whatever. So if you want to go to the beach, you can still go to the beach. That's entirely possible. It's just not on a day that means one thing for one group of people and something completely different for another. And I think that that's the most important thing, is that the day means the same thing to everybody. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Let me know what you guys think patriotism means in and amongst COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement and all of this, all of these social issues that we're going through. Let me know what you think patriotism means amongst all of this. And again, if you like my idea, or if you don't like my idea, let me know with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Really interested to know what you think. The link to that website will be in the description down below. You can read the full thing. Obviously I skimmed it quite heavily, actually. There's a lot of stuff I didn't read, so if that is something you'd be interested in reading, it will be down below for you. I will try to find the information on the Federation of Australia as well, and I'll link that below as well. But that's all I've got for this video, so until next time guys, keep your heads screwed on.